Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, we go back to Doom Tower. In fact, we're going all the way up to floor 110 of Doom Tower Hard to take on Agreth the Nether Spider. Now, you may remember I put a video out about Agreth not that long ago at the beginning of this Doom Tower rotation, and in it I had 6 methods for defeating Agreth. But then lo and behold, when I hit Agreth at floor 110 here on my main account, I stalled out. I didn't have a ton of time to play this week, so I was just throwing random teams at Agreth, putting a bunch of powerful champions together who I hoped would be able to complete it on an auto battle, but that just wasn't working. So finally today, when I got a little bit of time, I sat down and I decided to work out a good solution for floor 110. And in order to do so, I went back and watched my video from about 2 weeks ago to see if one of those methods would work for me here. So if you want to find out what happened, stick around. I think it's going to be a fun video. Let's get started. Just a quick reminder, I am still in the midst of my subscriber push. I'm trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, and we're falling a little bit off the pace, so I could really use your help. So the first thing you can do to help out is go ahead and hit the like button for this video and any of the videos of mine that you watch and enjoy. That's really the single best thing you can do to help a channel grow. And then the second thing, obviously, is go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hopefully that'll help me meet my 5K goal by the end of the year. Thanks so much for your support. Now let's get into the video. All right, so here you can see we are at floor 110 of Hard Doom Tower. Now, when I ran into this boss and I couldn't pass through it, what I was doing instead, just to use up my keys for the day, was going back into normal Doom Tower and running those up because I knew I could just auto battle all of those floors easily without spending time to find a new solution. So as you can see, I am also up to floor 100 of Doom Tower. I have 7 days, 6.5 days left of keys to get the last 30 floors done. Here would be 20 floors of normal and then the last 10 floors of Doom Tower Hard. Now, I expect to be clearing the final boss in Doom Tower Hard in the next few days, so expect a video on how to defeat floor 120, and I think that is the Eternal Dragon for this rotation. So if you're looking for a video for that, expect that this week. But for right now, let's jump into floor 110 and see if some of our solutions from our previous video can work right now. Okay, so here we are at floor 110. Now, I'm not going to review all 6 methods that I outlined in my previous video. If you're interested, you can go and watch that video. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate the ideas from that video into our team building right now. So there are 3 things that we need to focus on with every composition. We have to get through the waves, we have to be able to handle the poisons that come out, and then we have to deal with the spiderlings in some manner. So the first thing that we need to do is handle the waves, and for that, I'm actually going to bring in a starter champion. So I'm bringing Athel because she also brings in A1 Weaken, and so that's going to help me kill the boss a little bit faster. The second thing we have to handle is the poisons. So we need a cleanser and potentially a block debuffs buff would be nice, and also some heals. So Pythion here is the perfect champion for that role. He was a previous fusion, so if you are at this stage of Doom Tower Hard, you may actually have Pythion, and he is also strong affinity against this rotation, so that's really good. I also like to always bring in at least one reviver, and he has a revive, an AoE revive. So really the perfect support champion for Agreth. Now, the third thing we talked about is handling the spiderlings. In this particular case, I'm going to use the CC method. So for the CC method, you need a champion who's either got a 100% stun or a 100% freeze. Now, as you can see behind my shoulder, I do have Ragash. Ragash has a 100% stun. However, he is weak affinity into this affinity boss. So I'm not going to use him as my stun champion because there's a chance he would weak hit the spiderlings and that would cause a problem. So instead, I'm going to bring in one of my favorite old school legendaries, and that is Shiramani. She has a 100% freeze on her A3 on a 4-turn cooldown. She is likewise strong affinity. Now, there is a little bit of an issue with Shiramani, and that is that she has a triple hitter on her A1 that is random. And so there is a potential that she could hit the spiderlings accidentally during the run, triggering their counterattacks and healing the boss. So for a little bit of extra security about that issue, we're also going to bring in a heal reduction champion. So here I've added Venom Mage to the team. Venom Mage not only brings healing reduction, but is a great boss killer. is neutral affinity, so won't weak hit, and also brings a decreased attack and a decreased defense. That's going to increase my survivability and let me kill the boss a little bit faster. Now, finally, I'd like to bring in a third healer, and if I can get in a little bit of extra utility, that's awesome. So I'm going to go with my girl, Scylla the Drakes, who obviously is a powerhouse for a lot of these Doom Tower bosses. And in this fight, that's no exception. Her stuns help us with the waves. Her heals help us everywhere. She's got a slow and some turn meter control for the boss, and she's even got a backup revive. Plus, once again, neutral affinity. So now I've gone and rearranged the order here so that Venom Mage is giving us an accuracy aura, which means we're more likely to land all of our debuffs. And I put my damage dealer, my weakest damage dealer, all the way at the back of the turn order, just to maybe increase her chances of survival. Now, I should put this team into the AI to control when they use their various skills, but instead I'm just going to manual this fight, which I recommend you actually do, because that's going to increase your chances of success, and you don't really need to farm the Nether Spider. The forged materials that drop here are for the Affinity Breaker set, which is an awful set, so really you just need to beat this boss once, and then move up the Doom Tower. But all right, let's check out this team and see how it does. Now, I am going to let it auto the first wave because that doesn't really matter. But once we get into the second wave, I'm going to probably A1 cycle towards the end. I want to make sure that I have Shiromani's AoE freeze available when I spawn into the boss fight. And likewise, I also need the cleanse available from Pythion. All the other skills don't really matter as much, but those two skills are critical for this team comp. All right, here we are on wave 2. You can see Shiromani does have a freeze on her A1 as well. And so sometimes you'll get freezes from her A1. I'm not going to use her A2 because I want that available for the boss. I'm also not going to use the cleanse here because I want that available for the boss. When you spawn into the boss here, you're going to get a bunch of poisons. So you get a poison from each of the spiderlings and a poison from the boss. That's 5 stacks of poisons, and you can see the durations are very long. So you want, and this is very important, you want your cleanser to be the fastest champion on your team, or at least the second fastest, depending on if you have like a turn meter increaser or something like that. So this means that nobody's going to take damage from these poisons because I'm going to cleanse everybody right away. Without that skill, I could be in a lot of trouble. Now I have my AoE freeze available, and I'm going to use that right away. And we did not get 3%ed. You can get 3% resisted here. Remember, that's just a mechanic of the game. So there is no such thing as a 100% debuff. But we didn't get resisted here, and so now we're exactly where we want to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw out Venom Mage's A3 to get the heal reduction and the poisons out there. And then I'm going to use Athel's A1 to hopefully land a weaken. We did. Excellent. Athel did die. That's okay. We have 2 revivers. I'm going to try to get the slow out here from Syl. We did not get the slow, but we got a little bit of turn meter reduction. We're going to bring Athel back. Now I'm going to use my third healer to heal everybody up. And let's get the decreased attack and decreased defense up there from Venom Mage. And now we're just going to cycle our skills. Again, we're going to try to get that slow from Scylla the Drakes when we get a chance. But otherwise, this is the fight. This is all we do. We're going to freeze the spiderlings. We're going to put everything on the boss that we can. And hopefully, we'll just keep the spiderlings alive for the entire fight. We don't want them dying and respawning because that can be problematic because then they get actual attacks. But this way, they never get attacks. So I'm just going to go ahead and manual this fight because I don't think I can auto it. I don't think the speed tune is quite right. And the cooldowns won't line up properly. But I'm going to go ahead and manual this. You can go ahead and watch. And we'll see how it does. Okay, so here we are. It took a while, over 13 minutes on manual, 219 turns. But as you can see, handled it pretty easily, I would say. I was really never in risk of dying and failing. Athel died several times, but with 2 revivers, it wasn't a problem. Venomage did the bulk of the damage at almost 5 million, and everybody else basically did about 2 to 2.5 million, with the exception of Pythion, who did almost nothing. Of course, he was key to keeping everybody alive and keeping the team going. Now, this is fine, and this is a great solution. I wanted a relatively free-to-play option here. Venomage is just a regular epic, so not that hard to get. Scylla the Drakes is free, Athel is free, and Pythion was a fusion. So the one champion here that may be tricky to get is Shiramani, but again, she's just filling a role, and in fact, a stun would be better than a freeze, because a freeze does reduce the amount of damage that the frozen enemy takes. So if you had an AoE stun here that was either neutral or strong affinity, that would be even better than Shiramani. So there are probably a dozen champions in the game you could use in that role. All right, so now I wanted to build a different team that utilized maybe the power of my actual roster. I wanted to make it full auto, and I definitely wanted it to be faster than 13 minutes. So what I chose to do is use a different method from my previous video, which was to completely ignore the spiderlings instead of using the CC or trying to nuke them out or anything like that. Just going to ignore them and see if we can focus on the boss. Maybe we can kill the boss very quickly. I'm still going to need my 3 healers and my cleansers, but I'm going to mix this up a little bit. All right, for this new team, what I've done is I brought in Cardiel. That's going to give me an ally speed aura and speed me up a little bit. And he is now my 3rd healer because I've moved Shiramani off of the team. I still kept Scylla the Drakes and Pythion, but now I have Cardiel to give me a backup cleanse and block debuffs buff. Plus he has an ally attack, and that's going to just allow me to do more damage more quickly. I needed a single target damage dealer, and Newt is one of the best. He is weak affinity, but I don't think it matters. He's going to hit so hard, and I don't care about his debuffs in this particular run. I'm not going to use his weaken or his, I think, decrease attack. So instead, I've actually brought in Raz in here to supply a decreased defense and weaken in place of Newt's debuffs. He can do that as a single target hit, so I don't have to worry about the AoEs. Now, the nice thing about this fight is that the AI will naturally ignore any AoE skills you have when it comes to the boss. So if you do want to use the AoE skills like the Shiramani freeze from the last team composition, you're going to have to tell the AI to actually activate that skill. Or you're going to have to run it on manual. So for this, I'm just going to actually see without any AI whether or not this is just a full auto team. I would like to have a cleanse ability up at the first turn of the boss fight, but I've got 2 potential champions who can do that here, and I've got plenty of revives, and this is a very tanky team. I'm just going to let it run. I'm going to see what happens. So there we go. 4 minutes and 21 seconds, only 80 turns, definitely faster. You can see my best up there is faster yet and fewer turns. I don't remember what team that was. I lost that solution. This one seems pretty good for now. It also feels like it's probably close to 100% success rate. So I can just plug this in and forget about the Nether Spider for pretty much the rest of the time until I have to do another video about it. I think the bigger lesson for me and the take home for this particular video is the fact that I knew what the solutions were. I put together that video, and all I had to do was slow down and take a breath and take my own advice. And in fact, that video provided a lot of good information. I used it here, and here is my full auto 4-minute, 100%, floor 110 Doom Tower hard mode Nether Spider victory. So if you're out there struggling with a boss, with a fight, with a battle that you feel you should be able to figure out the solution to, take a breath, slow down, review what you know, put together your team in the best way possible, Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. Sometimes that's the hurdle. We have to have a moment to actually take a break and get into the game and think about things. But when we do, we can get good outcome. Okay, that is it for Agreth. Remember, I will have another video coming on the Eternal Dragon Floor 120 hard mode Doom Tower in the next couple of days. So watch out for that. Don't forget to comment below and let me know, what do you think about this solution? Have you found your Agreth solution yet? And did my previous video help you get there? Or maybe you know a solution I haven't thought of. Definitely let me know those in the comments below, because I can include those kinds of solutions in future videos. Thanks so much for hanging out. I've been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.